Everybody, Heather here. So today we're going to be coloring this super cute Magnolia image called Princess Party Tilda. Isn't she totally cute? Love her. I will put a link down in the description box to all the supplies I use and to the card kit. I would love for you to come over and check out my store and do some shopping with me. I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image, and today we're going to use W1, W0, and W00, and I'm going to start out with my W1, and I want to go in and just add just this a little bit where I want some darker shadows. So like over here, she's got a little bit of her background showing right in between her hair right here. And then we're going to go down, and let's add a little bit of color underneath of her skirt, and then underneath of her skirt over here. And then I think I'm going to add this also underneath of her arm right here where you can see the background, and down right in next to her dress. Just a little bit there. And let's say I'm going to add a little bit over here on this side of her leg. And I'm just trying to switch it up a little bit today. So I'm just going to add a little bit more shadows over here. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab W0. And we want to add some more shadows in. So she's got a little bit that I left off right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little section where I did right next to her body there, but I'm also going to do her hair. And then I'm going to go all the way around. So I'm just going to start down here at the bottom. I'm going to go right over the top of that color if I already have a little bit showing. And I'm going to go all the way around my girl. And right here again is a little space where her hair is kind of coming out, but you can see the background. So we're going to fill that in. And we're just going to work our way clear back around to the other side. This shoe, oops. And then I'm going to do the inside too of her legs. So let's go ahead and do inside here, and again I want to go over that section right there. And then I'm going to go, I'll clear around it again with my W00. So I'm going to go right in here, and we're going to go right over those lines we already laid down. Some color in there. And then I'm going to bring my color right on top of the last colors, and I'm going to spread it out a little bit wider. Let's give it a little bit more of a shadow this time. And back down to the ground. Let's hop down here and do the ground next, and then we're going to use W3, W1, W0, and W00, which, since we already have those colors out for our outline, will make it perfect. So I'm going to start with my W3, and let's add a little bit of shadows here in between her shoe. And let's see, we come out here right next to where the sole is coming up off the ground. And we're just going to brush a little bit of that right along there. And then come up here past her sole a little bit. I'm going to go with W1. Soften that line back here. And then we're going to pull our color away and out a little bit further. And you can go out as far as you want. And then we're going to go with W0. And I'm going over the last two colors and then going into my white space. W00. And again, I'm just going to go over my entire area and then pull out past into my white. That will blend all those colors together. And then I like to go back with my darkest color, which was W3, and add some shadows back in. So let's go right up here. And it may not be in the same space that I gave the shadows last time. I may go out a little bit further. I may compact it in a little bit. Every time is a little bit different. But whatever I like pretty much tends to be what I end up with. Let's go ahead and do her skin next, and for that we're going to use E11, E21, E00, and E000. And for her cheeks, I'm going to use R43, R20, and R30. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here at her legs. I'm going to use E11 first, and I'm going to add in some shadows. So let's go right underneath of her skirt with a little bit. And then I'm going to go down the inside of her leg, down to her shoe. And then she's got this little knee bump right here. So on this side where her knee comes, or where her leg kind of bumps in, I'm just going to bring that line around like this. Okay, same thing for this side. We're going to go right underneath of her skirt. And then I'm going to come down the inside of her leg and come down a little bit onto her shoe. And again, she's got that little knee thing. So I'm going to come around on this side where there's some little lines already drawn for me and just connect the dots. Then we're going to grab E21, and I want to soften that line, so I'm going to touch down on top of the 11 and pull out a little bit further. And same for this side. We're just going to brush right over the top. And then bring this line over here a little bit more on her shoe. Let's go do that on that side too. Next I'm going to grab E00 to fill it in. Brush over that line a little bit and soften that just a tad bit more. Okay, I'm liking that. So now we're going to hop up here and do her arms. So again, I'm going to grab E11 first. And let's start over here. I'm going to do right next to where her hand and her arm is touching her body. And then she's got this little elbow right here, so I'm going to go underneath that little swirl for her elbow. I'm going to come down here where her hair is touching. And same for this side. I want to go right next to where her hand and her arm are touching all this hair. And then I'm going to come up here where she's got this little elbow bump and give that a little bit of color. Next, let's go with E21. And we're going to touch down on top of the 11 and pull out just past a little bit. You just want to soften that color just a little. We'll bring this elbow up just a little bit. Next we're going to go with E00. And again, I've touched down on top of my E21. I got a little bit on her hair there, but that's okay. We'll color that over with our blonde there. Move over here and soften this edge. And then I'm going to fill it in the rest of the way with my E000. And then let's go move to our neck. So again, I've got E11 first. And we're going to go right down this side and then a little dab underneath of her chin. And then for her face, I'm going to do up here where her forehead is, right next to those bangs. I'm going to bring this color down this side of her face since it's tipped that way and connect it over here to her chin, where her neck kind of starts there. Next I'm going to go with E21. Put a little bit more down here on her neck. And then we're going to soften this line up here where we added our E11. And then I want to use this color to come around this side of her face. This is E00, and I'm going to use this to fill in her neck. And then we're going to come up here and bring this in onto her cheeks. And I'm not worried if it's not blended all the way because I'm going to go over it again after I add the cheek color. And this is E00. And we're going to go inside with this a little bit. And I'll leave a little bit of white there. Next we're going to grab R43. We're going to add some cheek color. And then R20 to soften the edges. And then R30 to soften those edges even further. Then I like to go back, so I'm going to grab E21. And let's go right along this side here, and I go up onto my cheek. And same for this side. Do a little dab of that along the edge. And then E00. And I tend to go clear over that cheek. So bring this out past her eye. Over my cheek, soften this line at the bottom. And then E00 all across her face. And then if I feel I've softened my red for her cheeks too much, I would grab them again and add a second coat. But I think that's looking pretty good, so I'm going to leave it like that. For her hair, let's use E55, E53, and E50. I'm going to start with E55 and add in my shadows. So let's go up here and just put a little bit up here towards the top of her bangs, where the crown is touching. And I'm using just the tip of my pen and just lightly flicking some color on. And let's go ahead and go this way too. And then let's just work our way down this side. Add a little bit of color. Some swirls. Right here is a curl, so let's curl the end up. And then where it's coming out from underneath of her sleeve here, I'm going to give it a little bit of color. And here's a swirl. And I'm just randomly placing some dark where I would like for her to have a little bit of shadows in there. So it's just for me where I like it. Okay, and let's go over here and do this side. And here it's coming out from behind her neck. And our little swirls. Coming out here behind her shirt. Okay, I like that so far. So next let's grab E53. And I just want to add some more color. So I touched down on top of my 55, and I'm just bringing some more color onto her hair. And I still have one color to go, so I'm not worried about filling it all the way in. And this side. Liking that. And I'm going to grab E50 to fill it the rest of the way in. And you can leave some white if you like that. I can just never get it to look perfect for me, so I usually tend to fill it all the way in. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit of white, but usually I don't. I just cannot make that work for me. And then after I've got it all filled in, I like to go back with my darkest color and add a little bit of shadows in. So E55 for that. And I tend to hold my pen a little bit more straight up and down when I'm doing this last flicking part, so I can add a few streaks. And then my color usually comes down further than it did the last time. Add a few down here on those cute little curly cues. And I'm liking that. Now let's work on her little crown up here. For that we're going to use YR12, Y19, and Y15. I'm going to start with my YR12 and we're going to add in some shadows. So let's just start over here and use, she's got some little dots that are already on there for me, so I'm just going to use those. And bring that across. And let's add a little bit down here in this crease. And here's some more of those little dots that the artist has put on, so I'm going to go ahead and just use those right there. I'm actually going to go down here and go clear down to this little V. That looks pretty good. And maybe add a few little spaces in here where we got some creases. And then for this side, let's use these dots she's put on here for us already. Okay, I'm liking that so far. So now I'm going to grab Y19 and I'm going to go right over the top of that color I just put down. And I'm going to go past, so I'm using up some more of my white. And let's bring some of this color over here on some of the spaces that I didn't use it before. So I've kind of went down on this side right here. And then I'm going to take my Y15 to fill it all the way in. And then I'm going to go back to add my shadows back in a little bit. So I've grabbed YR12. And we're just going to add a little bit more color here. Y19. I just want my crown to be a little bit darker this time, I think. And then Y15, just to go over the whole thing and smooth it. For her socks, let's use W1. So let's grab that and just add some shadows in. And I'm not even going to blend it. I'm just going to put my W1 on there where I want some shadows added in. Let's go down the edges of my socks. And these great lines that the artist put on here, I'm going to use those. Same for this side. We're going to go right along that crease. A little bit down here by the ruffle. And then I'm just going to leave it like that and later put some stickles on it. So now that leaves us with her dress and her shoes, and for those we are going to use R89, 39, 37, 35, and 32. I'm going to start down here on her shoes first. I'm going to grab R89 to start, which is my darkest, and we're going to add where we want to add our dark shadow. So let's go down the edge of the shoe, and I'm not worried about those dots on her shoes because I'm going to come back after I've colored her and use my Sharpie white paint pen to just put those back on. And then at the bottom down here, I'm going to leave a little bit of white there at the edge. And same thing for this side. Let's add a little bit of color along the edge. And then come around like that. And then where her shoe has a crease at the top, I want to add a little bit behind. And same for this side. Let's go over here. I'm going to go over this little crease in her shoe while I'm over there. And then down here, get some on her sole here. And we'll go down the back of this shoe. And she's got some great little lines in there that the artist already put, so I'm just going to go ahead and follow those. Add my shadows a little bit. Then I'm going to grab R39. Let's see if I can go a little bit closer here. Okay, so my R39's next, and I just want to go right over the edge. I'm touching my R89 I put down, but I want to soften that edge just a little bit. So I'm not adding too much more color, but I want to add enough to soften it just a little bit. And I'm trying to be careful to not get it outside the lines because red's not going to erase very well. Next we'll grab our 37. Right, I missed a little white spot there at the bottom there. So we'll color that in. And then I'm going to try to get in between these laces here. There, that looks good. And we'll work our way over here on this shoe. And then next we have R35. We're just going to fill that the rest of the way in. And I didn't use my R32 down here on the bottom. If you wanted to, you could, but you're going to have to tip it with the R35 because it's pretty light. I used the R32 mostly on the dress up in the top just to lighten it a little bit. Okay, that's good for the shoes. Then let's hop up here and do her dress. So again, I'm going to grab R89 to start, and we're going to add some shadows in. So let's go up here, and she's got a little bit of her dress, of her sleeve showing in between her hair. And I'm just going to work my way around. So let's do this bottom of this sleeve. And then you're just going to add it where you want to add a little bit of dark shadow color. And again, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to get it outside the lines. She's got a couple little bumps there on her sleeve that I'm going to exaggerate. The shadow lines are already there. The artist put some little dots there for us. And then let's go up here and go right next to her hair. And then she's got some creases in her dress that I'm going to exaggerate. And down here she's got some more dots that the artist put on that I'm going to make a little bit bigger here with my color. And I think I'll leave it like that for a minute. I might add more later. Next we're going to go with R39. I'm going to color in the top of the sleeve because there's not much left up there. And then just work our way along and soften that last color a little bit. I'll take and turn her just a little bit. And I'm going to take this color and lay my pen a little bit more on the side and flick it out here a little bit more. Let's bring this color down the side of the dress. Again, I'm going to flick this side in just a little bit more. Okay, that's so far so good. Next, let's go with R37. So I'm running out of room up here at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in the sleeve, which actually work out perfect because it's kind of underneath of her hair, so it's going to be a little bit darker. And tip my dress here again, so I can bring this color out here like this. I need to be able to move my pen a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to bring these stripes. We've got to go over those a little bit. Careful going around a little curly cue for her hair. I think I'll go right around the edge of that so I can fill it in a little bit. Okay, and then next I'm going to grab R35 and I'm going to fill in the rest of my white space. Same for the dress down here. Flick that on. And I tend to bring my color, when I get down to the lightest color, I tend to bring it all the way from the edge and go over the dark areas that I already laid down. Like that. And then I'm going to take my R32 and go over this entire section here and down here on the dress, just to blend all these colors together a little bit better. Take out some of those lines. That will leave us with the soles of her shoes, and for that I'm going to use W5, W3, and W1. I'm going to start with my W5. I'm going to add some dark where I want my dark to be, so let's do the edges of this one, and this one, and then over here where it's coming around, and a little bit right there, and then W3. And then I'm going to fill it in with W1. And then I think I'll go back with my W5 and just add a little bit more of my shadow in again. Just to darken it up just a little bit more. So now I'm going to add some of my white Sharpie paint pen. So I've shaken my paint pen with the lid on before I turn the camera back on. And then I'm just going to go in, and where there were some dots on her shoes down here for the little holes, I'm just going to add those kind of back in. And you can do that, or you can just leave them off too, that's fine. And then also for her cheeks, I gave them some little dots. Like that. So there is our finished colored Princess Party Tilda. Didn't she turn out awesome? I love her. She's so cute with that long flowing hair. And again, here is the finished card. So there she is, all colored up. So I went ahead and added some Stickles Stardust to the crown and to the dots, or no, not the dots on her shoes. Her dress, she's got a bunch of little sparkles in there, and I don't know, well, there you can see it a little bit. And then I gave her some, I did my, on her socks too. Sorry, I forgot, lost my concentration there. And then I took my Wink of Stella clear glitter pen and I added some little streaks in her, on her hair. But that is our coloring for today. I hope you had fun. If you liked the video, please hit the like button so you can share it with others. And if you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you on that. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.